And a good evening, everybody. Welcome into overtime. Yes, it's that time again, and having so much fun with high school football. A lot of great games each and every week. And, of course, last week didn't let us down at all. We're going to talk about a host of football games, plus our game to watch of last week. We'll introduce our game to watch this week. I'm Corey Miller alongside Jim Baxter of scvarsity.com. And, Jim, of course, was a crazy week, and some fights, some brawls, some folks getting upset with coaches because they have a little bit of Dabo Swinney in them. But let's start right now with what happened with Camden and Dreer. A good matchup. Camden won the football game, but after the game, there was a little bit of a situation.
There was. I mean, the teams lined up to go across the field for the handshake. And, from what I understand and from talking to everybody there, and actually one of them is an official, the officials, there was some pushing and shoving and jack-jawing going on during the game. Probably could have nipped it in the bud during the game, but they kind of let it go without the penalties. And after the game, the two teams met. A couple kids went chest to chest. You know, when that happens, eventually there's going to be a punch thrown, and before you know it, you've got 14, 18 kids involved in a fight, and it's unfortunate because now you're looking at suspensions for those players. The high school league's reviewing it. Those players are going to be gone. You're going to have some kids that will get one game suspension. That you're going to have some that are going to be gone for the season, and then also you have the possibility of postseason implications. So both those teams could miss the playoffs because of this.
And not just that. Of course, reading in the paper today, they're looking into and investigating the situation. Could be some criminal charges as well. I don't know if that's likely or not, but at least that's in the air. Of course, the principal I've read also got a little gash under the eye. Sometimes, you teach some principals, you got to get out of the way sometimes. Let the police do their job.
The problem with this is a problem I see with what's going on right now. The high school league doesn't have any protocol set up for this. Right. I mean, they each time this has happened, and this happens frequently, it's handled differently. Sometimes there's playoff, the teams are on probation out of the playoffs. Sometimes there's player suspensions and the teams are allowed in the playoffs, and they're still investigating. They're still investigating almost a week out on this. What's to investigate? If we had protocol set up that said, if you have X number of players involved in an incident like this, then A is your punishment, or B is your punishment if you have this number of players involved. And those protocols were set up, it'd be a matter of reviewing the film and then handing out the discipline. Yeah,
I agree with you. They got to find something to get a hold of that type of situation. But our game to watch last week, Mid Carolina, Newberry, and yes, I was right again, Newberry took care of business. Mr. Baxter, and there you go.
Hey,
Bulldogs, they bounced back.
I had Newberry in that game too.
Oh, did you? Okay, my bad. I mean, they won in a landslide, and this is a team that's been very solid all year long. A couple of losses, but still at least one loss. It's a good football team.
It's a good football team, and actually, Mid Carolina's not a bad football team. Right. I think Louis Alexander's done a good job up there. He's missing his top running back. Alec Green was injured earlier in the season. He's out for the season. And so they've struggled a little bit, but you see Jafari Wirtz there running around, and he's a dangerous player as a dual-threat quarterback.
For high school.
A lot of good players for that Newberry football team, and they're going to be a force in 2A playoffs.
No doubt about it. Of course, Dutch Fork is another team that, of course, Matt Colburn comes back off that high ankle sprain injury. Of course, he did not disappoint with 5 touchdowns, but my number 2 team, of course, in the Pastors pick, Matt Colburn, he's back, looks healthy, and running strong, Jim.
What you think about next week with that? Colburn's looking good.
We'll see.
Dutch Fork's healthy. This was a good win for Dutch Fork. Blythewood continues to struggle. They've got a tough game this week, and those struggles could continue on the field. And this is not the Blythewood team we expected to see this year at all.
Well, they're a team that's, of course, got some inconsistencies and kind of been up and down. They beat Spring Valley a couple of weeks ago. Probably a game they should have lost, but Spring Valley was without their guns, I should say, their top guns. Chapin and Lower Richland was another one. Of course, Chapin lost to AC Floor a few weeks ago. They get back in it. They get back on their call of duty.
They get back in it. They're running the ball well. Still missing their starting running back, and of course Logan Bailey, the quarterback there, scoring. He is a force for that football team.
He really is like a fullback.
He is. He's an athletic running back. Matter of fact, when I think back to the Brooklyn Casey game, and I was talking to Coach Sharpie and about what I said. Listen, let him throw. Don't force that kid out of the pocket. Let him throw. Don't let him run because he'll hurt you with his feet.
But when he played AC4, he took a beating. That defensive line got after him. But he's tough. He's a tough kid. He hung in there. He took some shots. But I like the way he plays football. Well, here's one that shocked not just the Midlands, it shocked the nation. I mean, Sports Center even reported on this one. Just kidding. But RNE and AC Flora. Homecoming, and of course you just saw, I showed you the tailgate, the cooking out, the hogs, the ribs, the chicken. They was on and popping, but unfortunately, Flora forgot they had to play the game.
They did, and you know, I've been talking about this for several weeks now. This is a team that plays sloppy on the offensive side of the football. Their defense is pretty strong, but this is a team that turns the ball over. They get penalties. They have too many penalties in the game. You know, they struggled against Chapin because of that. There was one drive in the Chapin game, Corey, where they had a 1st and 10 inside the red zone and wound up on that series punting from the 50. And so this is a team that's got to get that straightened out. I don't think they're going to fall far in the polls. They're still a strong football team, but they've got to straighten out what's going on the offensive side of the ball. And this is a great win for Richland Northeast and Jay Fry.
It really is. Congratulations to Northeast, because they've been getting a lot of love from us, but you deserve credit for that win. That's a good football team, and especially on homecoming. You play a team homecoming, you're supposed to, take care of business. Just saying. And this is one, the Battle of Lexington County. River Bluff, the new school in Lexington County, nice facilities. I want some dogs. Don't give me no bunch of meows. I want some dogs. Well, this is Battle of Lexington County, Lexington and River Bluff.
Yeah, I was at that game, and it was a very good football game in terms of how close it was. It was not a lot of offense in the game. I mean, it was a defensive struggle. I actually don't know if it was more of a defensive struggle or both of the offenses just sputtering. But they finally got going, and in the second half, of course, River Bluff has got this game wrapped up. Lexington winds up scoring with 58 seconds remaining in the game, gives River Bluff the ball back, and they drive downfield and throw an interception. With 13 seconds left to end the football game, and of course there was some anger over the after the game.
That was a Dabo Swinney episode with Coach Stepp
listen,
jumping around.
There were people actually had a question in the Baxter's Blitz today from someone. We do Q&A on Thursday, and one of the questions was, did you think it was unsportsmanlike? I don't think Coach Stepp was unsportsmanlike. He was excited. Yeah. He was excited. He was dancing around. He didn't do anything unsportsmanlike, and certainly nothing to be reprimanded by administration or anything like that. And matter of fact, the superintendent and both principals were there, so I'm sure if he had done something wrong, that we would have heard about it by now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, good stuff right there. When we come back, it's time to feature this week game to watch. It should be a good one. I don't know if we have some cartwheels or not, but it's going to be a dandy. This is Overtime. Be back in a moment. And welcome back to Overtime. Corey Miller alongside Jim Baxter. It is that time to feature this week's game to watch. Keenan and Fairfield Central, two programs has been really, really good this year. I mean, Fairfield Central 7-1 versus Keenan 6-2. And that game's at 7:30 at Fairfield Central High School. Of course, DeMarco Ziegler from Keenan and Joseph Young, Jim, guys from we're going to pay attention to in this ball game, but they're part of the success of both these programs.
They are. Joseph Young for Keenan for Fairfield Central has been key in that offense. A big, strong running back. You mentioned Fairfield Central being 7-1. The interesting thing is they start off 0-1. Those 7 wins are consecutive wins. From
first
week
loss
one.
to BC, and they rattle them off. This has been a kind of a, I would not say historic, but a program that's been good for a decade or so.
They have been, and this is a team. This Fairfield Central team is going to be really strong in the 2A playoffs. I mean, I really think that makes it sound like I'm picking them right now, which I am, because I like Fairfield Central in this game. Keenan's done a great job. Quinn McCullen's done a great job over there, and they've got a chance of this. I mean, they're a very good football team with a lot of talent, but I think Fairfield Central's going to have the edge in this.
Yeah, I like Fairfield Central too. A good football team. Again, that was a tough loss to BC in the opener. Of course, BC was one of my shockers of the year, but of course they've been struggling as of late. But I think Coach Dominic Davis is a guy that's got this program back on the right road. And here's what he had to say about this game coming up on Friday night.
It's funny because we really don't talk about a region championship. We got our goal list is a 1-goal deal. We got the shortest goal list in the state, and it's to win the state championship. So winning a region would be great, but we're just going to come out and play and do what we do. And if we win it, it's fine. If we don't, we still got a chance to reach our goal. Well, we kind of look at it like we're not trying to build a season. We're trying to build a program, so everything we do, we try to take in consideration that it's a program now. We're not actually trying to have a good football team. We're actually trying to have a good program.
And you have a really good program, no doubt about it. That's, Demetrius, I'm sorry I called you Dominic, because Dominic Davis is a person in sports as well, so I got caught up with this. But Demetrius done an excellent job with his football team, because you got to back focus, because you get kind of hit in the mouth in that first game, and then of course, to me, good sound coaches getting your guys back on track, and they haven't lost since.
And coming off of a year where they lost a lot of talent to graduation, they lost their offensive player that was 80% of their offensive production. So, very good job this year with recovering from that.
Well, Keenan has done well too, 6-2 on the year, and Quinn McCullum, he's got a good ball team himself. He played some good quality games and had some good quality wins. Here's what he had to say about facing Fairfield Central.
We're pretty satisfied with their performance thus far. However, there's always room for improvement, and you welcome these kind of games because these are big games, and these are games that you want to be in, especially if you want to be considered one of the top programs in the state. We have a saying here, victory loves preparation. And one of the things that you have to do, you have to focus mentally. Coach Davis and that entire community up there, they're a football area, they're a football town, football place, football school, and they really, really know how to play. And we're just basically trying to mimic them in some sorts. We want to be like them. So in order to be the best, you got to beat the best.
I like that, Coach McCollum. You got to beat the best if you want to be the best. Woo! That's Nature Boy. Get me into my wrestling mood right now. But this is going to be one of those tough football games. And of course, they're going to have to play good, Newberry is, to win this football game. I don't think that's going to be good enough. I'm taking Fairfield Central.
Fairfield Central's going to take this game. I agree with you.
Yeah. So, all right, when we come back, our players of the week, we'll talk about some guys. Gosh, a lot of great numbers out there. Tough choices, but we'll let you know who we chose. That's after the break. Welcome back to Overtime, and of course it's that time when we pick players of the week. And let me just say, it's so hard. So many guys have great football games on Friday night. It's really hard to choose. Some of them, it's repetitive. Some guys are good every week, and then there's some guys that really we haven't heard much of, but we try to pick the best guys each and every week. I know all of you are MVPs in our books. Corey Miller, Jim Baxter, and Jim, of course, as I said, a lot of guys that we can choose from each and every week. But this guy, based on the offensive side of the ball, been out a couple of games, high ankle sprain. To come back, I know how hard that injury is to come back from that quick. But Matt Colburn had a heck of a ball game.
He did. I mean, this is a young man that cut first week back, 137 yards, 5 touchdowns, scoring machine. And this is what really makes Dutch Fork what they are. Without him, they are, I wouldn't say they're mediocre, but they're not a great football team without him. Well, he makes a huge impact on that team.
You're right. And a couple coaches from out there I had talked to last couple of weeks, they say we're a different team without that kid. If he's not in the lineup, we are a totally different football team. And he's just good. He's just that good. He's strong, that little body. He runs through tackles. Of course, 5 touchdowns. I don't care who you're playing.
Well, he's what you call a game plan player. I mean, you've got to game plan for him when you're getting ready to play them, and I think that's why they said he was clear 2 weeks ago, because they didn't want anybody to know whether he was going to play or not. So you still got a game plan for him. But he was back this week, and he did his thing with 5 touchdowns.
Well, defensively, I mean, there's again staggering numbers out there. Guys had great games, but this is probably one you probably hadn't heard much of, unless you go to Chapin. Alex Shealy had a monster game: 13 tackles, 3 tackle for losses, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 2 quarterback pressures. And when you put those kinds of numbers up, I'm sorry, it's just it's worthy to be the overtime defensive player of the week. I mean, that's 13 tackles. You're active. You're getting behind the line of scrimmage. You get sacks. I mean, you pick up, if you force a fumble, you're creating turnovers. I mean, what can you say?
Yeah, he deserves it. I mean, and like you said earlier, coming into this segment, there's so many kids out there
Right.
that we could pick for this, because there were a lot of great performances every night. I get Friday night feats emailed to me on Friday night from around the state, and it's amazing how many outstanding performances there are that you could really say, well, golly, that's worthy of a player of the week.
No doubt about it. Well, these other guys that you want to mention a little bit deeper for guys that names are in the hat with recruiting, can play at the next level. Tell us about them.
Well, Spring Valley's Tyler Frazier was the first one that I wanted to bring up. A 6'3", 190-pound safety. Got his first offer this week from Hampton. And I think with that offer, more are going to be coming. He's an outstanding player, a physical football player in run support, pretty good in pass coverage as well. A smart football player, very cerebral, and he's going to be a good player on Saturdays.
Yeah, and Tyler's rangy. Watched him last year grow. He thought he might move up to be an outside linebacker. He has a frame to put that weight on.
He actually looks like an outside linebacker.
Yeah, and he's kind of got that build that he could be kind of like a Christian with that long arm type of guy. But pretty good athlete, and so that's good. I didn't know he got his first offer. So
he got first offer this week. And then Craig Johnson, tight end linebacker from Swansea High School, outstanding player, 6'2", 210. This is a young man who really plays equally well on both sides of the ball. Now, he's being recruited as a tight end, has offer from Marshall. Outstanding player. I think he's going to be, I thought he had a chance at getting in the Shrine Bowl. I think he's certainly going to be a player that would need to be considered for the North-South, because we're so shallow this year at the linebacker position that he is a kid that can play on that side of the football and should be considered for that. So outstanding player, and he's done a good job. I thought we had some clips. Maybe we didn't have any clips of him, but those are two of the top players that I like.
Now you got Johnson and McIver.
And Paul McIver, defensive lineman, who's another one I wanted to mention, from Batesburg-Leesville. Big kid, 6'2", about 270 pounds, Shrine Bowler, was selected for the Shrine Bowl. He's a kid that can play on the outside at the high school level, but he can also play inside. Corey, I think he's probably more of a 3 technique at the next level if he's going to play on the defensive front, especially with the height. But he's another kid that's got some looks. I mean, he's got an offer from Marshall, a lot of FCS schools on him, Elon. So he's going to have plenty of opportunity, plenty of schools to choose from when it comes signing day.
I was going to say, just watching the clips of him, he looks like a 3 technique. And going to grow into this going to be a 300-pound kid. You can just tell that. He's not, to me, not elusive enough. I just saw that one little move.
Well, he's not. He's not a kid. But at the high school level, you take these kids and you can play them on the edge, and they can do a lot of things, and they can stuff that tight end and do a lot of things for you. But at the next level, this is a kid that's going to be playing with his hand on the ground.
He's going to be down and dirty. Get ready for it, young man, because you're going to be on the inside. Just saying. I've seen a lot of guys like you're going to grow up to be about 320, and they're going to move them down that 3 technique. Good stuff there in Baxter's recruiting segment. All right, when we come back, it's time for, it's not Freddie Henry, it's pretty Dana Fulton. She's got the weather for you for our game to watch of the week. You don't want to miss that. We'll be back in a moment. All right, welcome back to Overtime. Our game to watch this week, Fairfield Central and Keenan. Should be a good game. And, of course, pretty boy, Chief Meteorologist Henry Rothenberg is in Utah. But we got you covered. Dana Fulton, tell them what the weather's going to be like.
I'm guessing it's going to be pretty lovely tomorrow. Your game to watch, score a 10. Scale of 1 to 10, absolutely perfect day tomorrow. Cooler temperatures for us, kind of similar to what we had this afternoon. It was a little bit chilly out there this afternoon, only breaking into the low 70s. Tomorrow for your Friday, expecting the exact same thing. Low humidity, always nice, plenty of sunshine. And while you're at the game, you can always check out that SkyWatch weather app. Keep us updated on your temperatures. As we get through tomorrow evening, there will be a little bit of cloud coverage, but expected to be mostly clear tomorrow night throughout the course of the day. Most of the clouds kind of coming through early on, not blocking out all too much of that sunshine, but do be aware you might see a few of them floating around over the sky. Your game to watch tomorrow night will be Keenan and Fairfield. That kickoff, same time as always, 7:30 tomorrow night, and we'll be in the low 60s around that time. So again, a very cool evening for us, and we in the mid or low 70s for the afternoon, dropping on down to 63 by 7:30. So once that sun sets, definitely getting pretty cool out there. But a clear, cool evening, perfect night for football. You're just going to want to make sure you grab a jacket or some hot chocolate, whichever you prefer, to keep you a little bit warm to check out that game. Should be a good football game, perfect weather for it, no complaints coming from me, that is. I'm much happier with 63 degrees, guys. Hopefully that's good enough weather for y'all over there.
It feels very good. You're right. Football weather is great, Dana. 60 degrees. You put the short sleeve on the day, nice little light coat at night. I don't know about the hot chocolate thing. That's being soft. I mean, it's not that time yet.
They'll break out the compression gear.
Yeah, I mean, come on, for real. That's not that cold yet. She's from that cold state, so she gets a little confused down here. But thank you, Dana, for that. All right, other games to watch. There are a lot of good games that's happening right here in the Midlands, Spring Valley, Dutch Fork, Jim.
Oh, Dutch Fork.
You got Dutch Fork that quick?
Oh, yeah.
Ryan Lee back?
Doesn't matter.
It's going to be a tough game.
Matt Colburn's back.
This was a matchup last year that could have been easily the state championship game had they been in different brackets, but I got to go with Dutch Fork. All right, Blackwood and Westwood. Westwood.
Easy. Westwood.
Easy. Yeah, Westwood. Yeah. And that matchup on the right, the first two on the top right there, that's next week. And, yes, that's going to be our game to watch, no doubt about that. River Bluff and North Augusta.
I'm big upset. I'm going to River Bluff.
I want them dogs. I don't want no meow. Dave Bennett, I'm going with you. I'm taking River Bluff to beat North Augusta. Come on, Coach Sharpie. Brooklyn Casey and Swansea, I got to go with BC.
It's a home game for them at the stadium. I like Brooklyn Casey. This is a must-win game for Brooklyn Casey, and that makes it a little bit more difficult for Swansea because Brooklyn Casey's back's against the wall.
Yeah, you got to do something big, Coach Sharpie. All right, Jim, it's now time for your top five.
Okay.
What's your top five?
Well, my top five obviously changed a little bit, but we have Dutch Fork still at number 1, Westwood number 2. That'll be settled next week.
Yeah.
We'll take care of that next week.
It's going to be settled. Yeah. It's going to be
Fairfield
settled.
Central, Batesburg, Leesville both move up from 4 and 5 to 3 and 4 because of AC Florida's loss, and White Knoll moves into my top 5. AC Florida drops out. So they're probably sitting at number 6
You're kind of late
right
to
now.
the party with White Knoll. But anyway, here is the POP. Top 5. That's right, guys that are rolling with me. Number 1, you got it right. It's all about the wood, not Blythewood. It's Westwood. Number 2, Dutch Fork. You kind of went from 3 to 2. I'll tell you why in a minute, but you're back at number 2, and you'll have your chance to prove me wrong that you're the best team in the Midlands next week. Boy, I cannot wait. Number 3, White Knoll. You keep rolling. You keep winning. You win ugly, but you win. So I got you at number 3. Number 4, Fairfield Central, big game, their game to watch this week. I think they're going to continue to do big things. This team could easily move up as well. And number 5, oh my goodness, AC Florida. I got to keep it there, Jim. You kicked them out. You can't keep. They only have one loss.
They lost to Richland Northeast.
They only have one loss, and it's a good football team. And you stand in my top 5.
You got White Knoll in front of Fairfield Central. You think White Knoll will beat Fairfield Central?
No, but I got them right there for now. All right, good stuff. Jim Baxter, I'm Corey Miller, the Pastor Payne. This has been Overtime. We enjoy being with you each and every week. Don't miss that down. Of course, if you miss us, it'll be on our website later on. See you next week.